If you're not black, let me tell you why you shouldn't use the N-word. Welcome back. This is Real with O'Neal. Okay, so I was faced with an ethical dilemma that I haven't had to face since probably high school. What to do when a white person starts casually dropping the N-word in conversation? It's a situation that many black people have faced, and depending on where you're from or how you were raised, you may or may not care if non-black people are able to use the N-word. Where I'm from, you can't. This past weekend, I DJ'd a gig in Matagorda, Texas, which, by the way, should definitely be renamed Magagorda, Texas, because holy hell, there's still a ton of Trump flags posted up everywhere. It's hilarious, because the people who wave MAGA flags are the same ones who wave Confederate flags, and I'm still not sure as to why these people are so obsessed with losers. But guys, this is not a story that has anything to do with Trump or his politics, but everything to do with the lack of social awareness by an individual who most certainly had never been confronted by someone who wasn't okay with him using the N-word. I won't say the individual's name because it's irrelevant, but he definitely was white. At the end of my set, myself and the group I came with were outside with this individual, just having a conversation. Everything up to that point was fine. The party was fun, everyone seemed cool, and the atmosphere was pretty chill. Then during our conversation, he starts saying nigga this and nigga that with a little bit too much comfort. Immediately I felt myself getting angry. This man is not bold enough to sit in front of my face and start talking about niggas this and niggas that. And full disclosure, I don't even remember if he was using it as an insult or just as a substitute for people. But, in that very moment, I stopped hearing him. I didn't care. This is where I had to make a decision. I knew I was offended, but I also knew if I checked this man in anger, it could ruin my buddy's chances of possibly getting another gig. And I was there as a guest for them. It wasn't about me. So when he asked to play a little bit longer, I said, nah, packed up my shit to get out of Magatown. Y'all, I was heated, but I needed that couple seconds to reevaluate the situation. When it dawned on him that I was feeling some type of way about it, he goes back into the venue where I was. And instead of apologizing or acknowledging that he may have crossed the line, he decided to do the typical white person knee-jerk reaction and defend himself by saying, I'm not a racist, I got black friends. Or, y'all know the classic, I don't have a racist bone in my body. So, I told him we need to go outside and talk one-on-one about this situation. I'm going to explain to y'all what I explained to him. White people, if you're still with me at this moment, I know what you're thinking. If black people can say it, why can't we? It's a simple question with a complex answer, but let me sum it up for you real quick. You don't understand the historical racial implications of that word because if you did, you wouldn't say it in the first place. And you are the only ethnicity with the capability to weaponize that word. Before I explain the first bit, let me break down the second point. Listen, why are hate crimes worse than regular crimes? Because whereas a regular crime is an attack on the rights of the individual, a hate crime is an attack on the entire community through an individual. Why is this relevant? Because when somebody uses a racial epithet against another, what they're attempting to do is to degrade not just the person, but everyone who also looks like that person. And listen, regardless if that white person used nigga instead of nigger, only white people in this country have the ability, being the dominant demographic in this country, to weaponize that word if they so choose. So that man's comfortability to say the word nigga means he could very well be comfortable to say the word nigger. When white people comfortably say the N-word, because of the brutal and detestable racial history behind that word, it becomes reminiscent to a time where it was used to brutalize African slaves. Black people have been traumatized by not necessarily the word, but the people behind that word that have been used as a dehumanization tool against the humanity of black Americans. Listen, even today, it's utilized as a tool, it's utilized as a weapon Look at this. This was in Plano, Texas, right in our doorstep. Check out this video.
Plano ISD and the city's police department are investigating disturbing allegations of bullying involving students at Haggard Middle School. Video was posted on Facebook by a parent who accuses students of forcing her son to drink urine. The student's mother also posted that it was one of multiple examples of bullying and racist remarks that her son, who is black, has endured. The district released a statement that says, in part, the Plano ISD administration is aware of recent bullying allegations and is working with the campus and local law enforcement to actively investigate the matter. Our district does not tolerate or condone bullying or harassing behavior and is taking prompt and remedial action to address concerns. And district officials said they first received a report on March 2nd about the incident that occurred off campus and was not school related.
Hey, y'all. Tim Buck says those white kids listen to hip hop. They probably love listening along to their favorite rappers' lyrics. And I'm also willing to bet they have black friends. Now, I'm not saying that the individual I had a conversation with is like those shitty little teenagers. However, the use of that word is still being deployed as a tactic to oppress and dehumanize black people. And the only ethnic group in the country that has outfitted that word as a linguistic shackle for black Americans has been white people. You want to dehumanize a people? Call them by another name to snatch their dignity and culture away from them. Makes it easy to make a game called Hit the Nigger Baby. But ultimately, guys, this is about respect. It costs white people nothing to not use the N-word. It costs them nothing. Even myself as a straight male understand and had to change the way I talked. In middle school and high school, it was common to use the words faggot and gay. I could call somebody a faggot or somebody gay or something gay when I disapproved of it. It was like an insult. I never used them as a slur to gay people, but it was still offensive to use it in that manner. So I began trying to use those words less and less, to change the way that I perceive things. Same with calling women bitches. Now, I've heard women call each other bitches, and I've heard gay people call each other fags, but it doesn't bother me to not be able to use those words because I respect the fact that those words aren't for me. I'm not losing my freedoms. I'm not coddling sensitivities. I respect and treat people with respect, with dignity. This was the part of that individual couldn't wrap his head around. He couldn't get past the fact that if he was wrong in the situation, it would force him to have to change his belief system. Because if he didn't, he'd have to acknowledge the fact that he was a hypocrite. Cowards are those who won't face their fears. If you can't reciprocate the same respect as another for the simple fact that you'd have to change your worldview, then you're living the life of a coward and deserve no respect. It's interesting for those who complain that everything is about race nowadays. They're also the ones who will perpetuate racism either consciously or unconsciously. If you truly want to help solve the race relations in this country, the worst thing you can do is not talk about it. Ultimately, we talked, and he didn't quite get it. Hopefully something I said stuck, because I wasn't doing this for me. I was doing this for him, because next time he might come across somebody who isn't as patient as I am. I appreciate y'all watching, man. This is Real with O'Neal. I'm gonna be sharing stories like this just throughout my life, culturally and politically. Follow me on social media at Real with O'Neal, at Real_with_O'Neal on IG. You can find me all over the place. Next week, you know what? I think I'm gonna talk about trans rights. I'll catch y'all later.
Left and right and blue and red, the marijuana Sudafed. Zanny buys a problem in this country, do we Sudafeds? The Suda people who pretend that their medicine do the best. Half a screaming, let them in, the other half say bitter fist. Dread a civil war in the garage, I'm trained.